with the 10-inch siege mortar. That is the only cannon we are shooting today that will have an actual projectile come out of it. So if you can hang out after this shot for a little bit and watch that, I'd say it's very much worth your time. It's quite a unique demonstration that we get to do for you here. And then the grand finale will be at 3:30. The largest cannon that we have that we can shoot, the 8-inch Columbiad, two cannons to my right over here, if you can see where I'm standing. That is the largest cannon we have that we can fire. We'll be shooting that one at 3:30 for the grand finale. We do these cannon days about once a month, starting in mid-April, going through Labor Day. So this is the next to last one. If you can come back Labor Day Saturday, we'll be doing this all over again. After that, you won't have a chance to see any cannons get shot until New Year's Eve. We've been doing for quite a while now a New Year's Eve cannon blast. We're at 7 p.m., which equals midnight Greenwich time, so we can say we waited till midnight but not have to stay up that late. We shoot every single cannon we can at 7 p.m., so we are expecting that to be 11 cannons this year. You get to see the fire and flame blow out the front. We have a band play from 6 o'clock till 7. It's a good family-friendly event if you're interested and in town for that. Now, if you've been coming to Fort Macon for many years, you've probably noticed that our armament has slowly but steadily been increasing. This is my Fort here. The first year I came to work as a ranger, we only had 3 cannons up here on the wall that we could actually fire for demonstrations. Now we're up to 9, so it's a pretty awesome job. That could not be done if it wasn't for the donations of kind visitors like you. We have a very good friends group here, the Friends of Fort Macon, who are able to raise money for special projects that might not look very good on paper to the penny pinchers up in Raleigh. So sometimes we joke, the program you're about to see, no state budgets were harmed in the making of this program. We're about to burn $100 in gunpowder very, very quickly. That's all through our friends group from donations from y'all in some way, form, or the other. Now, because we're so donation dependent around here, the friends are always looking for different ways to raise money. Coming up in October, if you like to get scared, we're going to be converting about half of the fort's rooms down here into haunted houses, and for $10 you can get a ticket and come walk through the haunted fort. We started that about 4 years ago. It's been quite popular. But then, maybe around the same time, we got the idea to mint a special edition challenge coin. The park was turning 100 years old. We made a special challenge coin to commemorate it, and they were extremely popular. So what we started doing after that, the Friends group, for the last 3 years, every year they mint a limited series special edition challenge coin that features one of the cannons that is here at the park. They only make 2,000 of each series, and for a $20 donation, you can get one of these challenge coins, and all the proceeds goes into an account strictly for putting more cannons on the walls and or buying the gunpowder and other consumables that we use every time we do a program like this for you. So if you like cannons or you like challenge coins, or especially if you like both, once we're done with this program, you can go up into the air-conditioned visitor center. A gentleman named Jeff is sitting at the desk under the big TV screen. He will be happy to hook you up with a challenge coin. Right now we have probably around 300 of last year's challenge coins, which featured the 32-pounders like what we're about to fire for you next. The very first series were the 24-pounders. They've been gone for a long time. And then this year, the 2026 coins feature the World War II cannons that we have 2 examples of right across the road there in the sand dunes, the 155 GPFs. And then next year, if you come back every summer, next year our plan is to have challenge coins featuring the mortars, 10-inch siege mortars, which we're going to be firing at 2:30. So that's my shameless plug and plea for money. We are trying to give you something to stick in your pocket to show that you've helped us out, but if any of that sounds for you, I'd like to say just check out the visitor center after we get done in between cannon shots, and they will fix you up. All right. For anybody that may have wandered in while I was going through that spiel, once again, welcome to Fort Macon State Park on our August 1st Cannon Day. We're getting ready to fire one of the large siege guns up here on the inner wall. This particular cannon is called a Model 1841 32 pounder. They call them a 32 pounder because the cannonball it shot weighed
32 pounds?
32 pounds, you got it. It could hurl that 32-pound cannonball just a few yards short of 1 mile. For those of you who can see out across the inlet, the waterway out there, the next island over is called Shackelford Banks, part of the Cape Lookout National Seashore. Last time we checked, the measurement on Google Earth is about 1.25 miles from here to the shore over there. So these cannons could almost fire over there accurately. But the main purpose of the fort being here in the first place is to guard the inlet, not to protect against people going over on Shackelford. We don't want enemy ships getting through this narrow strip of water to the other side where our state port is. There's only 2 state ports in North Carolina, us here at Morehead City and then the one down at Wilmington. So they are a very important strategic location that you want to make sure you protect so your supply lines don't get cut off if you get into a war with somebody. Now this one might be pretty cool. If that container ship doesn't anchor out there, we might have a more realistic target to shoot at by the time they get ready to fire. But any ships are going to be in the middle of that inlet where it's deepest, well within the 1 mile range of this cannon. Now what you're seeing the guys doing, they are going through all the same procedures a soldier from the American Civil War would have gone through to load, aim, and fire this weapon. We've trained off of the original manuals. Everything we're doing is exactly the same, except that we're not going to be putting an actual cannonball. There will be no projectile inside of this thing, but everything else the same. What you've already seen the guys do is roll the cannon out of battery. That means roll the top carriage rearward to the loading position. You do not want to load the cannon where your cannoneers have to stand up here on the wall where I am, because that makes them that much of a bigger target. They want to stay down behind the 3-foot brick wall where they have some relative safety. When you get into battle and are firing real cannonballs, the recoil of this thing will tip trash that might be left in the barrel from your last shot. The gunpowder charges back then would be pre-measured out into cloth sacks. When the cannon exploded, not all of that sack necessarily burned up or blew out the front. You might have fragments of it that are sitting in there smoldering. You don't want to load another 6-pound charged gunpowder in your barrel while you've got a smoldering piece of cloth ready to set it on fire before the time is right. So they use the worm for that. After you're done worming the cannon, the next tool is called the sponge. The sponge looks kind of like a gigantic Q-tip. It's covered on the end with lamb's wool that's real fluffy and fuzzy, so you can drop it into a bucket of water to get it saturated, and then swab out the barrel with that damp sponge. Once again, that's not just for cleaning it out, but more intentionally, that is to extinguish any sparks or embers that might still be remaining from your last shot. Once you're done with those 2 cleaning jobs, the command load was given. That's when the ammunition is brought up. For a large cannon such as this, it would be loaded in 2 parts. First, the gunpowder charge in that cloth sack would be brought up, inserted in the barrel, and then a tool called the rammer is used to slide it all the way to the rear of the piece. After that, if you're in battle shooting an actual cannonball, whatever type of projectile you're about to be firing, that would be loaded in separately and rammed in with the same rammer tool. Now, this cannon in the day used 6 pounds of gunpowder to fire its 32-pound cannonball. Today, we're only using a half charge of 3 pounds, but I promise you it will be plenty loud. Now, once the cannon is loaded, they have to roll it back into battery, roll the top carriage back forward into the firing position. They just finished that. And now the next command they're about to give is point. Point is the aiming command. That is where the gunner, the gentleman in charge of the cannon who's standing on the rear of the piece right now, he's going to give signals to 2 of his other cannoneers that are at the rear, and they're going to use their large wooden hand spikes with some specially made pry points on the small little traverse wheels at the rear of the carriage to get them to aim the cannon left or right, depending on where the target is he wants to aim at. Once he's good with the left or right, he has acting command is where you make the gun ready to shoot. I know they were very complicated naming these steps back then. Now, the way we're going to fire this is the way they would have made it go off back in the 1860s, but it probably is not the way you are picturing in your head. With these old muzzle-loading black powder cannons, a lot of times because of Hollywood TV, what have you, we always picture that you have to put a fuse or a wick thing in the little hole in the back and somehow light it on fire with your matches lighter. If you're Clint Eastwood, you get to light it off with your cigar and look real cool and have a big theatrical moment. But by the 1860s, in the middle of the Civil War, we were already using a new type of detonator called a friction primer on the wire there and hand it up to the gunner standing on the rear of the piece. The gunner is then going to insert friction primer into the vent hole, and he's going to watch his cannoneer holding the other end of the lanyard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come on, come on.
The 54 cannons that were here during the battle would have been loaded and fired back in the middle of the American Civil War.
Cho mà tớ rồi.
That was a lot quieter.
In the air-conditioned, let me say that again, air-conditioned visitor center.
Well, you can feel it. But that was half the charge.
On our If you've not been inside the fort yet, check those things out. And once again, at 2 o'clock, we will be the next standing the 10-inch siege mortar with an actual ball coming out of it when we fire it. Thank you all for coming out to see us today.
我们在家里巧克力了，在。
Since it's just you. Yeah. Fine. Never.
Chị xem mình ôm lên cái con cá tao bỏ kẻ khác thôi. Chị, tao đặt.